23 stupidly expensive things you can find in Minecraft. And they get even more expensive as the video goes on, starting with one of the most unfair crafting recipes in the game, trapdoors. They've had to program in new trapdoors, and they still stick by to this old recipe. 6 blocks condensing down into exactly 2 trapdoors. It's just so painful. I have no idea why it's not getting changed. I mean, there's no stone cutter for wood. You know, we've done stairs before. Stairs, you do all that and you get 4 stairs. You know, it condenses down. That's not great. Trapdoors, just so much worse. We've got another wooden item that costs too much, this being the jukebox. Now, this is based off reality, the fact that you need to use a diamond tip for the Edison phonograph, giving us the jukebox like so. But just because it's based off reality, I guarantee you, not every jukebox that you've ever bought has a diamond inside of it. It's just way too costly for an item that you're only using for maybe an achievement, maybe to listen to Strad. Not a lot of things that are useful for it. Fluid ropes. Now, what are fluid ropes? This is the idea of if you want to have ropes for your rope bridge that actually look like ropes for the rope bridge, well, it's costing leads and it's also costing hidden mobs that we've got down here. Look, we've got a chicken down here that we tie to the lead to get us this convincing thing. It's just way too expensive for a build hack that most people won't even notice walking through. Is it cool? Obviously, but we can't just tie leads in between fences, so not having that option, pretty disappointing. You're gonna have to use some kind of mob in some kind of horrible way. Ain't that just tragic? Oh, leashing boats? I guess it has gotten a little better by leashing boats. I mean, that's still too expensive for what I think this build hack should be. All right, so the boats are a little better than the chickens, but still too much. All right, so Cake Ladder is technically one of the fastest ways to get up to sky limit in Minecraft. I mean, we've had a whole video talking about that. It can work wonders, especially if you got yourself a horse that can help you scale up it even faster. All this just to be able to go up to this chest. I mean, faster for sure, but so fast? Not necessarily. I mean, there's not even like a great safe way down. It's kind of a ridiculous method. Each one of these cakes that you're seeing, you're gonna need milk, you're gonna need eggs, you're gonna need wheat. Doesn't make sense. Now, bee farming seems like it would be very low tech and accessible, even more so than slime farms, but it really isn't, because you're gonna need silk touch to even put this into effect. And in that case, you're gonna need this full enchantment setup that we've got here, or you'll need a silk touch villager to do the trades with. That's just way too many emeralds just to get what? Very slow honey? Yeah, the best returns you get is going to the nether and going on top of the roof, which that alone is very expensive. Bees are helpful in redstone for sure, but for how late stage it feels, it doesn't make sense for something you see around so often. Now, TNT duplication is great, but it is very expensive. And the reason for this is because if you want to do the most simplified setup, you're going to need observers, which require quartz, and redstone, which is already expensive, pistons, which is iron. This is the most basic case that we could do, and all of this just so we don't have silk touch. Yeah, it works for sure. You have to go through a lot, and now I have to actually flip this trapdoor instead of having it done automatically for me. If you want to have a lot of observer friends around, I would actually spend them on something a little cheaper than a TNT duplication machine. Here we've got the torch flower farm. Now to get this, you're already going to need the sniffer egg, which is a rare drop from archaeology only in the Warm Ocean ruins. And then after you go through all that effort, you got to let the sniffer grow up, only to then have it plant down the torch flower seeds, get a fully grown flower, which when you break it, gives you no seeds in return. It's literally just the flower that we're getting. Terrible. Oh, get it, observer. It's a boy. Oh, it's crowning. Fantastic. It's a sniffer. I mean, even just from that, we get 1 egg from the We get 1 egg from the sniffer, and you're gonna need to go and find another rare drop just to be able to breed them to get more sniffer eggs so that you can actually go and get this torch flower. And for what? A thing that gives you orange dye? It's a nice enough flower, I guess, but it's not even a light source. How disappointing. Now, this is the machine that we use to automatically fill up our water buckets for us. All right, so by throwing a bucket in here, that'll then give me my water bucket back. Or I could have just done this. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things where you get overly complicated solutions to very simple problems. So I'd much rather just go about it the old-fashioned way where I can. Look at that, look at all these hoppers, look at all the redstone. No, this is too expensive. You can't convince me that this is worthwhile. I was trying to think of a practical use for this. I can't. It's practically useless. Here we've got ourselves the Warden Catalyst. Now the idea here is that if you were to kill off the Warden, I get exactly 1 Sculk Catalyst. Or just go down to an ancient city and just find Sculk Catalyst anyway. I don't even have to go and kill the Warden for it. I mean, it doesn't drop you a lot of experience or anything. It's a mob that you're really not supposed to kill. If you could, then people would farm it it all the time. But no, it's just something you get exactly one Skulk catalyst from, lets you make more Skulk. That's about it. An overgrown shooting range. And the idea here is that if we have Infinity on our bow versus Mending, that's the big debate, right? Infinity or Mending. After going through all that effort, my thing breaks. I can't even repair it because it's too expensive. 102 levels? Even in creative mode, I'm balking at the price. No thanks. Well, I don't want to. Okay. Like kind of a William Tell situation. Shot the fence off your head. Mending is going to be a lot cheaper in the long run. And plus, if you're trading with villagers, you can get a whole lot of emeralds that way, folks. Look, I used to be an Infinity bow user as well, but once you start to realize just how cheap it could be the other way around, it makes all the sense in the world to me. Here we've got the Conduit, which you're going to need all these Nautilus shells, which already takes a lot of going after Drown to get all those. And then the Heart of the Sea, which is a treasure item for what? The ability to breathe and see underwater? That's cool. It's not exactly the most effective. I don't know. I think the idea of having an underwater base like this is not something that a lot of us get to realize, and usually just because there's no point to getting the conduits like this. Entity cramming machines. Now, these could be incredibly effective at getting rid of mobs. And the idea of this is that we're setting up a whole bunch of mine carts to fill up the entity cramming limit in one space, but by having 25 plus mine carts just to kill off this one mob faster, I mean, that's a lot. Look at how much iron it's gonna cost. 125 iron, almost 2 stacks worth. But it's enough mine carts that it can kill off any mob, so if you're willing to do the startup, it is a little better than an iron golem. It's a little more situational, but it also will kill off all these guys as well. Armor or not. Whoa! That was the worst roller coaster ride of his life. Anvils as railing. It also takes a lot of cleanup when you have 25 minecarts in the same area. Now, we've shown this off in build hacks in the past, but we always do it with the caveat that anvils can look great as railings, but think about how expensive each one of these are. This is 31 ingots for each one of these that you're placing. That's how expensive each one of these ends up being. That is crazy. And then if you were to do some of the floor pattern ideas that we've shown off, like this, you know, have kind of a floor design. We've done kind of braided floors before. I think it can look cool, but it's so expensive. You're gonna need an iron farm to just do this, and for what? To have someone say, why would you spend all this iron on this? You could have just used walls. And honestly, you could have. It's a good point they're breaking up. All right, Observer, we're going over to the industrial dirt farm. Now, it sounds crazy, because why would you want to farm dirt? And you've got exactly the right point. The idea here is that we have a large-scale conversion machine that's going to be converting all of our blocks anticlimactically into chests of dirt. This one's by Giorgio JGZ. Now, what we're seeing here is a mix of TNT duplication, azalea farms, all to just turn our moss into dirt. It's crazy. Crazy stuff, folks. This is all for dirt, which is all of around us. This is completely pointless. I mean, you use something cool like clay and mud. At least I could use those for bricks and stuff, but just dirt itself, pointless. We've got a Savannah village over here because one of the rare items that you can only find inside of village chests is tall grass and tall ferns. Now, for how rare these items are, they're completely pointless. I mean, if you ever wanted tall grass or ferns, you could just take the short ones and bone meal them. So there's no point necessarily for us to use these other than anything as like a trophy. Like, sure, put it away, stash it. It's kind of cool to have at least some of them on hand, but other than that, no use. You can't even go and leave it to your next of kin. Ooh, we've got llamas. So over on location, we've got the maxed out llamas. Now, llamas have variable storage space depending on their strength and HP, and they can be bred similar to horses. But after all that breeding, they don't have the horse breeding buff, meaning that breeding these together could take a lot of time, a lot of wheat, and for what? Just a slightly better llama to put in your caravan? Like, sure, it can carry a couple of extra items, or I could just go craft up a shulker box. It just doesn't make sense. They're not even that fast. Not a big fan of the llamas. And apparently, they're not a fan of me. Yeah, there you go. That's how you get them moving, Observer. Stay back! Stay back! Don't spit on my babe! Come on! Wow, my hero. The rare blue axolotl. Teleporting over to this place. After all this breeding for axolotls, it takes a lot of effort just to get the rarest one of the bunch, but only has a 1 in 1,200 chance of spawning. I mean, look at that. That's cool. That's about it. I mean, I know people where it's not even their favorite color of the axolotls. So, all that effort, not even a special special axolotl. It's not easy to breed for them anyway. It requires tropical fish buckets, which are relatively difficult to mass acquire. You can't exactly stack them up, and each one of them needs 3 iron. And then you gotta figure out what to do with all the non-blue ones. You just kill them off? That's sad. Yeah, it's a rare axolotl if you have to kill off all the other axolotls for it to stand out. So this right here is 11 shulker boxes. That's about 300 tropical fish, which is only about a quarter of what you're gonna need on average to breed this up. I mean, if you get lucky, great, but you're gonna need 4 times the amount of tropical fish that we have here. It's a Nightmare Observer. Now, I'm not someone who's messed around with armor trims that much. I really only had to do it for the Achievements in July series. The reason is because I really wouldn't go through the effort. I mean, sure, you go and find them and stuff, and some of the rare ones can be cool, but wanting to make duplicates of any of these, it's gonna cost 7 plus the block that they need for them. But look at this. Just for that Silence armor trim, which is a super rare chance of finding, Ward has a 5% chance, Silence only has a 1.2% chance to find it. So at that point, when it's one of these rare ones, yeah, I'll maybe spend the 7 diamonds when I've gotten to that point. You're gonna find more just in searching all the ancient cities to get it. But the cheaper ones that you can find on the surface, it gets really expensive to try and duplicate these. And we don't have it here, but netherite upgrades very much fall into this list as well. Oh look, he went for the torch flower. That kind of makes sense. Anyway, we've got the Dragon Head Piano, a classic here. Very cool build hack, right? We've shown this off in the past. I love it. But each of these black keys that you're seeing is its own dragon head. We've got multiple here as well. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just to play what? Hot cross buns? I'll hot cross that off my list because you could just do looms and get a pretty good looking build hack anyway. A lot cheaper. Look at that. I don't know, you're gonna have to go find end ships for each one of those. And that means each one of those 7 heads that I just broke, each came with an elytra, which that part's cool. But building what? This? It's more use for dragon heads than I had in the past. Heavy cores are particularly rare. And because they're so rare, using them for decorations like this is ridiculous. I mean, one of the rarest drops to get, and then you have what? A toaster? Ventilation system? I don't even know what this is. An unlit lantern? Neat. Yeah, I mean, you can only craft 1 mace. I guess what are you gonna do with the rest of them? They're so expensive. Oh look, we even got our little own our own mace built right there. Yeah, look at that. That's kind of neat. Is it worth going through all these trial chambers at the max level to get it? No. And it gives you kind of a fence so you can keep out people. And really, what's being rich worthwhile for if you can't keep away the pores? Now, this one, some rich things are just cool. You know what I mean? I'm not exactly gonna go for a Rolex, but if someone were to build a piston bolt for me, I mean, I might think it's ridiculous, but I'll still ride it. Because piston bolts are one of the fastest ways to travel in Minecraft, and the whole reason is that we're using these curved rails. I mean, that rocks, right? Like, that's a lot of fun to go and ride. You could do it AFK and stuff, because really, what's the point of being rich if you can't be lazy as well while you do it? Oh, look at that. If you mess up just 1 rail, then the entire thing gets broken, because you just can't curve it the same way. Wow. So all it takes is 1 person to come in and ruin it for everyone. Here we've got renewable diamonds. Now, sure enough, it is possible to get renewable diamonds, and apparently a lot of people watch it pretty close. You're gonna understand why we have so many player heads here in a second. So the point of this being is that renewable diamonds are a rare drop from trial chamber vaults, but the drop only drops loot per player. But technically you can reset the stored players list. Now see, vaults have a memory that stores up to 128 players. So if I do it, Observer does it, and then 126 of our friends come through and do it, or at least our friends' heads, we can have them go through, and eventually it'll reset, giving us diamonds from that vault. But you have to have 129 people go through before you're able to get renewable diamonds. Okay, hey, Steve. You're looking mighty smart today. Wow. Now this would already be a fantastic vein of diamonds to go through and mine, right? But way up at the top here is the largest vein of diamonds mathematically possible is this using deep slate ore. Now we've kind of generated this post-world generation, but in this, it would be possible to find that you could get 849 trillion diamonds. And folks, that's not even touching into Fortune 3. You go in that with a pickaxe, you're gonna get bored of the stuff. And look, compile it all into diamond blocks, we get this massive structure. That's incredible.
And with that, folks, YouTube thinks that you might like this video, so see if they're right and have a good one, all right?